martial arts expert, John Morrow. I'm going to introduce you. He has done so many things in his life that this probably will not do justice to all the things he's done, but hopefully you'll insert pieces as you go through. So John Morrow is an 8th degree black belt in Shaolin Kung Fu, is that correct? Owner and chief instructor of Morrow's Academy of Martial Arts in Moline, Illinois. A 2-time karate tri-state sparring grand champion and Midwest weapons forum champion. He served 8 years as a community correctional officer in Iowa. He's also an adjunct professor of kinesiology? Kinesiology, thank you. Oh, good.
The study of movement.
That makes so much more sense. At St. Ambrose University in Davenport, Iowa for 25 years. Mr. Morrow is a member of the USA Martial Arts Hall of Fame, in the Guinness Book of World Records, and Ripley's Believe It or Not. He has also served twice as president of the Quad City Morning Optimist Club, which is probably why he knows Tom Reagan, who's also in the Optimist Club, a local chapter of Optimist International. So welcome, John Morrow, and thanks so much for being here.
Great to be here. I brought a student with me, Blaze Carr. He'll be helping out a little bit. What a great day to be in school. Can't do anything, can't go fishing or anything. Good day to be in school, sit around. Okay, great to have you here. So, what is the purpose of this meeting? What's everyone studying? Why are we here, Lisa? I should know this, but...
Breaking through obstacles to increase motivation.
Oh, good. That's why I'm here. All right, that works out. Okay. Yeah, I'm John Morrow. I've been in the Quad Cities since '75. I live in Bettendorf with my wife. Have a couple kids, actually. A son in Columbus, Ohio, who works for Chase Bank, and a daughter works in a psychology clinic in Des Moines. 3 grandchildren. Live in a house in Bettendorf. It's a real normal life. And kind of justify why I'm here. I've had a lot of things happen. World records. I've had a lot of attention, headlines, front page news in papers, local TV spots, All Stands Live, Dwyer and Michaels, all kinds of programs coming up. Cover of weekly magazines, interviews with national magazines, and Canadian magazine interview. Lots of things have happened in the past few years. Might be wondering why all the interest. I guess because of the things I've been doing, my attitude, some of the things I've accomplished. Accomplished a lot, got a lot of attention for it. Almost famous. Even get calls from NBC or now ABC and CBS late night talk shows to be on there. So a lot of attention. How did I get to that point? Well, I'll tell you my story. How I got to that point of excellence, so-called. I'll just give you a little background, a lot of background. I was born in Tongue, Iowa, on the East End, a little 4-room house, a living room, a kitchen, 2 bedrooms, youngest of 4. No indoor plumbing. We had an outhouse, so I didn't really have a bathroom inside. I was a bedwetter till I was about 9. Couldn't ride a bicycle. I was 10. Not really talented. I remember trying to play baseball, and a fly was coming, and I tried to catch it. Hit me right between the eyes. I cried. I was about 8 years old. So your self-image can get a little bit of a hurting, coming under those circumstances. But I did have some mentors. Did have a baseball manager who helped me learn to play baseball. And by the time I was 12, I could play baseball pretty well, but I was too old for Little League. Had some other mentors as well. But one I found when I was at the YMCA, I saw a sign, Judo, demonstration in gentleness. I go, demonstration in gentleness? What is that? I thought you throw people around. Come to find out, it's the interpretation. It's Judo means gentle way. And what that means is you do maximum efficiency with minimum effort. So you're able to throw people not using a lot of force, using their force, and that's what Judo is about. Of course, when it became an Olympic sport, it got to be kind of a strength thing, but classical Judo, you just use the other person's strength against them. Then into Judo, and then by 17 I discovered Those are the YMCA. At the YWCA, there was a guy giving a Kung Fu demonstration, and I really, wanted, this is for me. No one had talked me into it. I just suddenly, somehow knew that was what I was going to do, and that's what I wanted to do. Maybe you found something that, maybe you will someday find something that, yep, this is what I'm going to spend my life doing, So I'm not really sure then I was going to spend my life doing, but I knew I really wanted to do it. And so I had to travel from Ottumwa to Fairfield, about a 20-mile trip twice a week, just to study. It wasn't in the late 60s. There wasn't a lot of private schools. Wasn't much, but I was lucky to find that. So I started training in martial arts, in Kung Fu, Shaolin Kung Fu, and it was really good for me. Built up my confidence. Got to be, I went to graduate from a Catholic high school, went to a junior college, Ottumwa Heights College. My high school closed here, I graduated, so the nuns that taught me got jobs at the community college, so it was like another couple years of high school. But anyway, I at that point I got my black belt, but I really was tired of school. I hated it. I don't know, I hated term papers. I didn't like it. So fortunately, they had a program where you could get an internship in Washington, D.C. So I got a paying job working for a congressman in Washington, D.C. And that gave me a whole semester, got 6 political science credits, and kind of gave me a semester off after a year of college. I got, first semester. So I was able to work in Washington, D.C. Really learned a lot. It was great. But then back to school the next semester, and I got a job at my aunt's donut shop, Morrow's donut shop. And then, but finally got my black belt. Got my black belt, and I was in school. And you know what? I don't do what I did, but I just got towards the end, and I quit. And but I got a job as a youth worker in a group home for boys, working for UK delinquents in a group home. I was set up in an old convent that the nuns used to teach me lived in. And there I was in this convent, this group home for boys. So I did that for a few years, working for boys and trying to help juveniles get through the tough period. They've already committed some crimes, and trying to straighten them out. So after that work at Siddhartha House, I moved to the Quad Cities. At that time, Quad Cities assigned world headquarters for farm implement headquarters of the world. Of course, that kind of diminished after a while, but there for a while there was all kinds of places, all kinds of jobs. But instead, I found a job at a karate school on Variety and Locust. Went in there. The guy said, "Hey, you want to work out?" I go, "Okay, we'll work out." Well, spar this guy. So this great big guy I had to spar with, Bob, and we're sparring. He just bang, hits me in the head with a roundhouse kick. I go, "Okay, I think I see what's going on here." So then I fought back, and then the guy said, "Okay, you want a job here?" I didn't know it was an actual audition, but anyway, so I worked with him for a while. And then my brother-in-law, who's from Australia, said, "Hey, we're going back to Australia." This is 1975. "Want to go to Australia?" So, I'm 24. I said, "Yeah, I'll go to Australia." So I sold my old GTO, my albums and stereo, that's all I had, and then headed for Australia by my brother-in-law bought a school bus, turned into a motorhome, and so got into that with my sister, brother-in-law, another couple, my fiance, and we headed off to Australia by bus. So how did we get there? Anyway, went down through the Ozarks and down to New Orleans, checked out New Orleans, went over to Hosanna, down to Nogales, Arizona, about October 1st, left in August. About October 1st, went down through Mexico, went all down the west coast of Mexico to Mazatlan, Acapulco, way down to Puerto Escondido, across the mountains into the Yucatan Peninsula, saw the ruins, Palenque, Chichen Itza, all the Mayan ruins, the Tulum, checked them out, and traveled into Belize, and then Guatemala. Went into Guatemala, beautiful place there in Guatemala, Lake Atitlán, and finally got into El Salvador, maybe around Thanksgiving, and my fiance said, "I can't take this anymore." I'm going home. I gotta go home. So here I am in El Salvador. I had to tell my sister-in-law, okay, all right, we gotta split up. So we took off on our own from El Salvador, since I was taking these buses. Went back up to Guatemala in a place called Panajachel, a little village there. And it was on a Lake Atitlan, which is about 8 miles across. And it was surrounded by 3 volcanoes. And at one time, it was a volcano. Clear water, beautiful place. Found a place to stay. On the way down in Guatemala City, a guy walked up to my fiancée and said, Kathy? And that was her old name. And then come to find out he was from Houghton, Iowa, just like her, a town of 150. And so we just happened to hook up and stay in Guatemala for a while. Headed up north, taking buses. One trip, on the way up, I woke up, fell asleep in the back of the bus, and everyone's looking at me. They're looking at me, and then I look up, and there's a federale with a machine gun in my face, asking me questions. It was a really rude awakening, but I'm 24, I'm a black belt, I'm not afraid of anything. I answered his questions, sí, bonito, all kinds of, answering in Spanish. He checked my papers, my passport, everything. Then he kind of looked kind of disappointed and walked away. So anyway, finally kept our trek north and got back to Mazatlan, took Aeromexico to Tijuana, and then I figured I was close to San Diego, so I got in a taxi, but actually it was like a 20-mile trip. But anyway, got to San Diego, and then took a train, some friends in LA, and had to get back to Midwest, and they just wanted to do a drive-away. Like, okay, what's that? You know what a drive-away is? They give you a car, and all you gotta do is deliver it. So it's LA. Deliver this car to Chicago, and you got 4 days, get it delivered, and if you don't get it delivered, there'll be a warrant for your arrest. So anyway, it's okay, this is great, got a car. So anyway, drove it back, we stopped at a little place in Wyoming, finally made it back to the Midwest. Anyway, when I got back, by this time got my old job back, I'm 26, I want to start an academy, a martial arts academy. So found a place in Bettendorf for rent, a little place, and said for rent, and I went to the owner, and he said, hey, I want to rent this. And he's really rude, no, I'm going to rent it. I want to open up a price school. No, you'll tear the place up. No, it's a business. Of course I won't tear it up, So anyway, I happened to know a city councilman, and he went and talked to him, and finally I got in, finally started the academy, Morrow's Academy in 1978. It's a lot of hard work, because I was working at Eagles Warehouse in Milan. By day, I'm loading trucks, and then I teach in the evening. But anyway, on my way to success. You know what success is? A little quote here. Success is not a place at which one arrives, but rather the spirit with which one undertakes and continues the journey. So whatever you're going to undertake, and work hard for something you want to do, that's your success. Just keep at it. That's your success. And I worked hard. Part of this. After a while, it was a strain on my young family, my wife especially. They weren't home that much. Eventually, we ended up getting a divorce, and I lost the house and kind of lived in the car with friends and at the dojo floor, and it was a little depressing. And suddenly I realized, wait a minute, everything I am doing is a result of my decisions. I can't blame anybody for anything. And I thought about it, got immediately out of depression, went to work, getting in better shape, got a job as a correctional officer, trained hard, became a karate champion, got back with my wife, we got remarried, found a place in Moline, Illinois, bought a 3-story building for $100,000. It was a real deal, and was a building owner, and things were going good. That realization brings me another quote. Few things are as encouraging as the realization that things can be different, and that we have a role in making them so. Things can be different. They always can. So anyway, had that building, things were going great. It was, owned a big building, large school, had tournament seminars. But there's an old Malaysian saying, just because the water is clear doesn't mean there's crocodiles. So there's always problems. So on Wednesday, August 20th, 2003, I got a call from my maintenance guy, said, hey, better get down here, building's on fire. Building owner hates to hear that, so I ran down, and Shooting Sports next door was, they thought it was a shooting, but actually the ammo was blowing up, and there were just cartridges all over the street, opened up like bananas, because the lead kind of stays and then the cartridge flies, and it's just like a banana. They're just all over everywhere. It was an awful fire, devastating. Did about $150,000 damage to my building. Just totally had to redo everything, new carpet, it melted the windows. It was so hot, it melted. I had these old windows with kind of chicken wire in the middle. It just melted those, melted the speakers. Everything was ruined. So I had to, it was a disaster, and trying to get a contractor and insurance, and it was a nightmare. It was, and again, my wife was stressed. She said, handle this or you're going to get a divorce. Anyway, she wasn't totally serious, but it was stressful. So finally, 2004, I'm getting a grand reopening, and I'm sitting in this waiting room reading a Muscle Fitness magazine and said, greatest feats of strength 2003. This guy did 133 push-ups in a minute. And I said to him, I think I can do that. I really think I can do that. So I went home and did 133 push-ups as fast as I could. Looked up the clock, about 65 seconds. And so the next morning I woke up and go, wait a minute, I'll try that again. Did 133 push-ups as fast as I could. Looked up the clock, 62 seconds. So I decided for the grand opening, I would announce to the world I'm going to break the world's record for push-ups in a minute, and put myself on the spot, really. I had all three, I informed all the newspapers, all the TV, all three TV stations, both newspapers, all showed up for my grand opening. I had Dwyer and Michaels there, live, and put myself on the spot. So I pretty much had to break the record, I think, for that. So there's another saying, argue for your limitations and they're yours. Argue for your limitations and they're yours. It's an argument you'll always win. If you're going to say, nah, I can't do it, you're going to win that argument. So that was from Richard Bach, Jonathan Livingston Seagull. So why not be able to do it? So as it turned out, that day, I was ready and did about 139 push-ups in a minute, broke the world's record. I was on the front page of Dispatch, Times, and TV coverage, which is great. But in order to break the record, you also officially have to take video of it, photographs, affidavits from a doctor and a lawyer, and all the publicity you get, and put it all in a package and send it to London, and then they figure out if you got it. So anyway, they came back and said, you're wearing long sleeves. We can't discern if your welder went down all the way. You don't get it. So anyway, all that much ado about nothing there. But later on, I met a guy who went to Palmer, so at the Senior Olympics, says, hey, I work at the Palmer Research Lab. We can hook you up, computers and sensors, and measure exactly. So next time you go for the record, we'll measure it. So I went to the Palmer Research Lab. It was like later that year, and worked out, got ready, went through all that stuff. Went to the lab. They hooked me up with sensors, hooked me up with a computer, measured everything, and by golly, I got about 141 push-ups. Sent all the data in to Guinness. They wrote back and said, hey, that was really good. We have to minus a couple for form. So we'll give you 138. Unfortunately, someone got 139 a month before, so you don't get the record. So anyway, so the next year, when something like that happens, you kind of get like unfinished business. So the next year, in my building, I decided to have a fitness fair. Invited chiropractors, massage therapists, the bank one at the time, now Chase, someone that a cryptologist looks at your signatures, your handwriting analysis. That's what he was. Anyway, at this fitness fair, I announced that I would definitely break the world's record this time. So there were about 90 people there. My mother came up from the Talmud to watch, my family. Again, I had Dwyer Michaels, all the TV, all the newspaper, put myself in the spot. It's time to start. I did 141 push-ups in a minute, but my timekeepers were off somehow, and I want to make sure Guinness accepted it. So in 5 minutes, I said, I'm going to do that again. So I had the chiropractor work on me. I had a massage therapist. The massage therapist for the Russian rowing team was there. The Olympic rowing team was there. She worked on me. So 5 minutes later, I did it again. Did 142 in a minute. And the crowd went crazy. It was in the paper. I sent all the data in, and they wrote back and said, during this tomorrow, we regret to inform you, your side angle, they didn't get your knees. You have to do the front side. So we can't give you the record. We deem it's impossible to do the push-ups you did. We're going to close that record. Don't call us again. Goodbye. Anyway, so that was it. So the next year, I taught Ambrose. I found another record, most push-ups in back of hands. It was 90. 90, man, I can do that. So I was working for that. The guy in London on a TV show got 100. And I can still beat that. So on, let's see, on Cinco de Mayo, May 5th, 2006, at the age of 54, I broke the world's record for push-ups on the back of the hands, did 123. On my 40th day of fasting. So I fast every year in the spring. So anyway, that was so unusual. Guinness, I had all the video. Guinness accepted it. I got the record. Ripley's Believe It or Not. I got a call from Ripley's Believe It or Not. Say, hey, can you come to Chicago for the Ripley's Believe It or Not opening? Or why are you calling me? Well, you're in the book. I am? Yeah. So anyway, I got calls from Jimmy Kimmel, ABC, to get on, but it didn't quite work out. Later on, David Letterman was interested in having me on. I was one of three. Had to get ready to go to New York, but it didn't work out. So I'm almost famous. Almost famous. Anyway, so the next year, there was a guy in our office called who had cancer, and he needed money for treatment. And I thought, I'll tell you what, on my 55th birthday, I'll do 1,000 push-ups, 1,000 legs, 1,000 sit-ups in an hour, and I'll raise money. People, come in. I did that. Raised, $600, gave it to Jim for his cancer treatment, and that was kind of the beginning of raising money. I started a thing called Push-Ups for Peace, where I would go for a world record again and raise money, and I raised, year after year, I raised several $1,000s, and I wanted to help kids who are facing terminal illness, kids who are hungry, kids who are disabled. So I raised money for the Children's Therapy Center, Make-A-Wish Foundation, Kids Against Hunger. Kept raising money every year for that. So it became a fundraising thing. So I had a devastating disaster at one time, which morphed into found myself trying for a world record, which somehow caused me to work to raise money for charity, help kids. So you get a disaster like that, maybe you've had a disaster, you have ups and downs. You never know how it's gonna turn around. For me, it turned around quite a bit. Later on, I kind of took a break, but when I turned 65, I went to KSI and did the same thing on my birthday. Did 1,000 push-ups, 1,000 legs, 1,000 sit-ups in an hour. Did that when I turned 65. Did it when I turned 66. When I turned 67, did it again. I'm old. I know, you're thinking, I'm old. Oh, what's he doing? And I hit my shoulder when I turned 68, but I came back at 69 and did it again in 2021, age of 69. So January 6th, I'm going to say January 6th, 2021, ring a bell, January 6, 2021. Yeah, I know the Capitol and everything. While they were doing that, I was busy raising money for kids, doing push-ups. And so that's what I've been up to. And then, well, later that year, I went to the chiropractor down the street, and I thought I'd come home, and just for a second, and the neighbor came up and said, "Hey, what's all this smoke in the neighborhood?" It's like a bad enough neighborhood. And I don't know, we walked down the street, this guy's garage is on fire. He's got a garage that sits back in the driveway, a detached garage, it's on fire. And I thought they were calling 911, so I called 911, and there was a bunch of Hispanic talking there. That's fine, I couldn't get through. So people across the street are yelling, turn around, and so I'm turning around. This all happened in 45 seconds. The guy who owned the house came out, saw his garage on fire, backed up in his Jeep Grand Cherokee really fast, hit me. I just felt something like I got hit by a whole football team and Chuck Norris all at once. I flew into the street. I still remember my cell phone flying out of my hand across the street. I hit the pavement. I'm laying there. I hear sirens. The fire trucks are coming. Women are in the street going, "There's a man in the street. Don't move, don't move." Anyway, the ambulance came and said, "You need to go." I don't want to go to the hospital. "Oh, you better go to the hospital. Your blood pressure is 180 over 120, whatever it was." So anyway, I was treated, and these cuts, and they're treating me, and they're like, "We need to take care of this cut." Anyway, so I was released that day, and I missed my 10:30 class. I think you were that day. 10:30 class, because it happened around 9, a little bit after 9 o'clock. So I was in the hospital, and I teach martial arts class, and so I missed it, but so I was treated, released. I had this. I had 3 tendons torn and detached. So anyway, so I go to the school the next day and no one shows up. I said, "Hey, I'm here." I called up everybody, there's all 8 guys that came, "Hey, I'm here. I got hit by a car. What are you doing? Get in here. Train." So anyway, but later that August I went to Iowa City. I went to my doctor who sent me to ORA, who sent me to a doctor in Iowa City at the University of Iowa Sports Clinic, and they got in, it wasn't until August, and they put my tendons back together, and I was in a sling for about 6 weeks. And if you ever had to like adjust with an arm in a sling, it's no fun. Matter of fact, I had some other conditions that I had to go to the emergency room right after that surgery in the Quad Cities as well. I had another condition, so I was kind of messed up for a while. Anyway, matter of fact, it's like I hate to say I had a catheter right here, so I was like this for about a week, and then like that. Anyway, so then went push-ups, and you get a image of yourself of what who am I? I'd be at the convenience store and strangers go, "Hey, when are you going to do another world record?" That was a greeting, like I didn't know people, but they just come up to me. But anyway, I kind of ended that for a while, but slowly, that was in 21, what was it? Yeah, 21, so all 22, I kept getting a little stronger. Now, I think just the last month, I think I can do a bunch of push-ups again. But I wasn't quite ready in December. On December 22nd, a guy named Tom Reagan came in, talked to our club about 22. I guess there's about 4,800 students there, and 200 or 400 are veterans. 22. He came and said, "What's your 22?" I go, "What's that?" Well, on December, it was like helping remember that up to 22 veterans commit suicide every day. It's a pretty serious problem. So to commemorate, you do something 22 times. So wait a minute, I think this is like in early December. I think on December 22nd, I'll do 22 leg lifts, 22 setups, every minute for 22 minutes, which added up to hundreds or whatever. It was a great showing. If you remember, it was like it was going to blizzard that day, but I decided to have it. And that's it right there. Tom Reagan right there came in, and do you know Tom Reagan? Anyway, he was there, and it really went well, didn't it? We raised, I think I raised about $1,100 or
over $1,400.
$1,400 in 22 minutes, just from people calling in, and to help the veterans got to write a nice check to Black Hawk College, and it was great. So great to help people. Did you know that the way we're built, if you help a stranger, it actually strengthens your immune system. It makes you stronger, makes you healthier. When you help others, it really makes you feel good. There's something about helping others that makes you feel good. And that's my story. That's why I'm here. And thanks for not falling asleep. So anyway, but in the next period, what we're going to do is work on some things. I've got some things planned for you. We're going to learn something about ourselves and about how we think, about the things we do. All these years, as my instructor was training me, putting me through all these, why does he make me do these push-ups on my knuckles and my finger and my wrist? Why am I doing kicks over? Why am I, come to find out, he wasn't just training my body, he was training my mind. And my instructor is kind of a martial arts genius. He's written 9 books. This is going to be our textbook, more or less, for today. Martial Arts Mirror Image. His idea is that our mind, we can't see it, but our body is a visible part of our mind, and it actually manifests what we're thinking in our mind. You see someone happy, smiling, they're walking around, you can see that. If someone's angry, afraid, you can see it in their face. Someone's depressed, they're walking around dragging slump. That mind manifests that. But the weird thing is, when you have a certain posture, like you're slumped over, depressed, and your mind picks up on that, and it becomes depressed from that body posture. So it goes back. Even after the cause of that depression is gone, that depression stays because of the way your body is. And we're going to explore body posture and body movement and the body-mind connection. We're going to explore that a little bit today. And we're going to, in a few minutes, we're going to take a break, because you can only take so much. As a matter of fact, I do Shaolin Chuan Kung Fu, and it began in 520 AD at the Shaolin Monastery in China, and it was monks who were studying Buddhism, Zen, and it was a monk came over from India. His name was Balaruma, and would lecture to the monks, and they would fall asleep during his lecture, so he instituted a set of exercises to keep them alert. We'll be doing some of those exercises called Qigong to awaken your internal energy. We'll be doing that. But a few thoughts first, and then we're going to take a break. A few thoughts. We're going till 7 p.m., aren't we? Is that, what was it? 2 to 4? Okay. Shoot. I thought we were going to have a seminar here. I thought we were going to, okay. 2 to 4. Okay. As a man thinketh, so he is. As you think, so you are. What you think, you are. How you think. That's who you are. We have, Deepak Chopra said, we have about 80,000 thoughts a day. 60,000 of them we had the day before. Many of those thoughts are negative. It was written, I've read an article about how a negative mindset is kind of we even heard that from our ancestors who needed negative thoughts to survive. They had to deal with wild animals, enemies, so it was like a means of survival to have a negative mindset because you never know what's going to happen. Now we don't really need that much negative today, but it's still kind of there sometimes. What's going to happen? Or what's going to, now what? What's next? The weather's going to be bad. There's going to be freezing rain. We have that negativity, but that's something we don't need as much. The body is a visible portion of the mind. That's where we see the mind. That's all we see. As I mentioned that. But the body and mind are inseparably united. They're together. We're going to explore some exercises that will kind of demonstrate that. But important in this thinking in our minds is our self-image. I talked a little bit about, I kind of hinted on my self-image as a kid. Wasn't all that great. Couldn't do much. You know, it's, you know, that house I talked about, 4 rooms, there was a big yard and there was a woods across the street, and, you know, it was pretty happy. You know, we weren't, I don't think poor, I always had enough to eat and clothes to wear, but anyway, it was, you know, it wasn't tough. It was a good childhood, but, you know, didn't really have the self-image. I don't know where that comes from. Well, I know where it comes from. It's from what your mentors tell you, what your teachers tell you. You'll never amount to anything. Why are you trying to do that? You're no good. You're so clumsy. Why are you tripping all over? You know, all these negative things add up to build a self-image. Movements explained, ingrained in the mind become a reflection of the mind. So, and the body reinforces that. But back to self-image. What is self-image? Self-image is a set of ideas that define what you believe about yourself to be true. Our feelings, our abilities, our behavior, even our beliefs about everything else will always be consistent with our mental self-portrait. Whatever image you have, you know, it's always going to be consistent with that. That's what you're stuck with, kind of, but it can change. I'm going to read a little bit from this book here. Read a little passage my instructor wrote. He says, many years ago I had a Kung Fu student. Anyway, I once convinced this student that the inch-thick pine board he was holding was actually a piece of extremely hard oak. I spent a couple of minutes talking about how strong the wood was, how he could probably park his car on it without damaging the wood. And he was, in the paragraph before, he was talking about how strong this student was, a very strong student. And when he tried to break it, he failed. In fact, he failed not once, but twice. Afterward, when I told him I was just kidding, just funning him, he split it without any effort at all. So, your behavior will reflect exactly what you believe. What you believe affects your behavior. So we're going to get into a few things, some exercises, but we're going to take a break. And this break we're going to take, I want you to stand up, if you would please. Go ahead and grab the arms. Yep. And get underneath. I showered today, so you can go underneath. Okay. Yeah, just let me go. Yeah, there you go. My arms down. Okay. Don't arrest me. I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything. Okay, a little grip on that wrist there. Okay. So, would you guys pick me up? Pick me up. Use your arms. Use your arms. Pick me up. Go ahead. Go. You can do it. Come on. Lift me up like that. Down. Hold on. Keep it holding like this. Leave some circulation there. All right, good. Now. Go ahead again. One more. This time. Go to the light. Go. See how easy that was? So what happened there? What happened there? Let me do the heavyweight again. Go ahead.
Oh, just let me feel it.
Well, you guys really squeeze, don't you? Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah. Let my arms go. All right, there you go. Good. Hold on. Okay. And now, hold on. Again. Go and hit again. Like, go. Feel a difference there?
Yeah.
Immovable posture. What we're going to do is I'm going to have you try with 2 people. Let's have, right back to the experiment, let's have you. Yeah! Right there. Okay. And let's grab, this thing right, Blaze, would you join in?
Yeah.
Oh, you coach. There we go. All right. Grab his arms under his pants there. Grab down by the wrist.
You're weak.
Down by the wrist. Down by the wrist. Okay, good. Okay, just lift him up regular. Lift him up regular. Like that. Don't slam him. All right, now. Now, go hold him. Now, I want you to think about your arms. Go hold it. I want you to think about your arms like you're holding buckets of lead with each arm. Buckets of lead, you're holding buckets of lead. They're really pulling your shoulder down because those buckets are really heavy. They're really heavy.
Go.
And I want you to breathe in. When you breathe out, I want you to breathe down through your feet. And extend your abdomen out when you breathe out and down. Inhale, breathe out and down. Hold those buckets. Pull those buckets. Breathe down. Breathe down. Inhale. Exhale. Breathe down. Hold those buckets. They're weighting you down. Lift up. See if there's a difference. No. Hold on. Now, let's see something. Hold on. I want you to think about the top of your head. Think about the top of your head. Light. You're like a balloon. Lift them up. Go. Light. Whoa. All right. Little differentiation there.
Jennifer, you know you do.
Oh yeah. Can you get comfortable? Just sitting regular with your feet flat, hands flat. Sit comfortably, back straight, head up. And we're going to go to a movie right now. Yeah. We're going to go to a movie. And the movie, it's called movie time. I want you to relax and sit comfortably. And we're going to work on 4 hours. Take a breath. Breathe in through your nose, out your mouth. Breathe in and out. Really relax. Hands in your lap. Back straight. Breathe in. Now close your eyes. Don't slump forward. Keep your back straight. Breathe in slowly and comfortably. Deep abdominal breathing is best. Take 3 deep breaths. Now, I want you to imagine a large movie screen in front of you, and the star of this particular movie is you. Visualize yourself as you would like to be. However, it's not enough to simply see yourself as you'd like and be doing the things you'd like to do. You must see yourself in the smallest detail. Where are you? How are you dressed? What is the weather like? Are you inside a room? What color are the walls painted? Is there anyone nearby? Do you know them? Exactly what do they look like? And most importantly, how do you feel mentally and physically? I want you to put you in a state where you see yourself in the future, close your eyes, where you really want to be. Could be a job, could be a house, could be a situation where you really want to be. And see the surroundings, the colors. You hear things, the sounds. You can hear it, you can see it. Is there anyone there? Where you want to be in your future, exactly where you want to be. Keep visualizing it. Do you smell anything? Taste anything? Can you feel, are you touching anything? Feel it, see it. It's your future. It's your now, actually. It's already happening. The way you want it to happen. Okay, intermission. Time for popcorn. Like butter with that? You smell it? Okay, anyway. This simple exercise must be practiced for a minimum of 20 to 30 minutes daily for 100 days. Like anything else, if you want something that takes a lot of work, I don't know. It's a good exercise, but to get the results, you need to, your nervous system doesn't really know whether something is real or not. If you involve all the senses, your nervous system believes it. Your subconscious believes it. And after a while, it'll happen. There's a story of a guy, salesman, going to a farmhouse, and he sees this little girl dancing. And she says, what are you doing? I'm dancing, I'm a dancer. And he goes in the house and he sells insurance, and so he has occasion to come back to that house and sees the girl again dancing, and she's getting a little bit better. And she says, I'm dancing because I'm a dancer. And he went again, he saw her developing. Eventually, she went on to go to California and become a dancer, a well-known dancer. But what was it about this girl that she succeeded? Did she say, I'm going to be a dancer? Did she say, I want to be a dancer? Did she say, someday I might be a dancer? I'm going to try to be a dancer? No. What did she say? I am a dancer. I am a dancer. She already was a dancer in her mind. And she became a dancer. Well, she was. It already happened. It already happened. So, if you're going to do it tomorrow, the future's too abstract. Too abstract, it never comes. It's really always now. Got the past, got the future, but it's really always now. Future never really is here. It's always now. All the time. So you have to make it happen. Oh, by the way, that student of my instructors that told him the board made an oak, he couldn't break it, and then he broke it, that was me. He fooled me. I didn't even remember that, but then I read in the book. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I was proceeding on what I thought to be true, and that's what happened. Your subconscious is like that. Your subconscious works in that way. If you tell it something, it listens, it's going to do it. And be careful. When you say something, oh, I'm an idiot, I'm stupid, I'm clumsy, your subconscious is listening. It has no favoritism. It'll do what you say. So you could make yourself worse. But if you constantly say positive things, your subconscious is listening, and that's how you'll proceed. So how do you focus on the subconscious? It's a powerful thing. It's directed by your conscious. As I said, it's impersonal, has no will of its own. It has no regard for personal welfare, your subconscious. If you start saying negative things, it's going to go with it. So it's up to you. So, like that girl dancer, clearly identify your goal. So it's already happened. There's a Zen saying, if you're going to climb a mountain, start at the top. That's how Zen is, okay. But it's true, think about that. You should already be there. You're not down at the bottom if you're going to climb. So write it down. Write down what you want. That puts it in, it's too abstract when you just think about it. Write it down, puts it in the real world. Declare it out loud. Your subconscious hears that. Goes back in your brain. Write it down, declare it. As I said, be careful not to declare negative things because they'll start to happen. Behave as though it's, going to happen, like the little girl dancer. She not only said she was a dancer, she was dancing. And desire, it's a big part of it. Getting a world record, I just somehow wanted it, made it happen, out of nothing. People could say, oh, you're a little old for this, aren't you? Aren't you a little old for that? Aren't you a little, it's the whole world now, A lot of people try and fail. People can talk you out of it, If you got your mind set on something, if you really believe it, if it's already there real for you, don't back down. Do it. And be prepared for difficulties. I've had many difficulties, setbacks, things happen, It's bumpy. It's very bumpy on your way, It's a very bumpy road. There's another saying, I like sayings. A gem is not polished without rubbing, nor a man perfected without trials. Sometimes I have kids in class and I teach them something and they're like starting to tear up, oh, it's hard. I go, difficulty is good. Difficulty makes you better. Difficulty is good. I have to tell them that. Let's do something difficult. Okay, let's go. Let's do something difficult. Let's raise one knee and punch same time. Do that over and over again, See if you can do it. Difficulty is good. It makes you better. Standard board. Good solid board. Let's make houses out of solid there. Okay. What? I'm going to have Blaze. Could you help Blaze hold this board? Bob and Blaze. Hold it top and bottom. Get on the other side. Will, intention, relaxation, intention. This way. So I'm going to bust through this board here. So, not so much strength, but imagine an arrow being released. Releasing the power. That way. That's where the energy comes from. And you know what? I decided was to bring everyone their own personal board. So, right down. What's blocking you? What's stopping you? Who's stopping you? And as soon as you got it written down, put it face down, and we're gonna, face up. We're going up here and break through that block. So I guess we'll do, I've got these properly spaced, I guess we'll do 3 at a time. And there's 3 people at that table. So why don't we, let me give you a little instruction here. When you break through this board, don't try to do it with your fingers. Use the edge of the hand like this. Edge, not the outside, right here. See this? Everyone point to this part of your hand right here. That's pad right here. That pad. So the hand has to meet about like that. Not this way, but about at an angle like that. And what you're going to do is drop through that way. Just like that. Drop through. Yeah. Edge of the hand. Yeah, drop through. What you gotta do is drop through, right like that. A psychologist friend of mine was attending a seminar my instructor was giving, and he was having doing a technique, and the psychologist, Dr. Swenson, said, can I for a moment talk to your students? He goes, yeah, sure. So he gave the exact same directions that my instructor did, except he said, I want you to try to do it. I want you to try to do it. And you know what? They failed. Because try leaves an out, leaves a possibility for failure. So I want you to come up here and don't try, just do it. I want you to extend through mentally. And of course, sometimes fear stops you. But have you ever heard the expression, fear makes the wolf look bigger?
Yeah.
It does. Okay. No fear. Plow through it. Are you ready? Of course not. We can't do it anyway. Sometimes you do things you're not ready. Okay. Think I was ready for this seminar thing? No, I wasn't, but I did it anyway. Okay. Now, I'll get up here. I want one person here, and one person there. Make sure it's good. Okay. Put your hand down. Okay, good. All right. Bring your hand up. I want you to just plow through it. Okay, ready? We'll bring your arm up. Bring your arm up. We're gonna go here. And make sure you hit it just right. Run that way. But I don't trust you. Put your hand down again. No any injuries here. Okay. Ready? Bring it up. And put your left foot forward like this. And turn your whole body in and just drive through it. Ready? I want you to hit it hard. Through. Just go through it though. Intentionally. Okay, ready?
Deep breaths.
And go. Hit it. Go.
And
Yeah, all right. Next 3 up. Let's go. 3 more.
it's fun. That looks fast.
Yeah, pick up your board there. Your break down. You get the other people going. Very nicely done. Next 3. Yeah. Next 3. I need got 2 more over here. Not over. Everyone's got to do it. Mine's coming out. Mine's coming out. You know, all those have the attitude. If they can do it, I can do it. Ever have that attitude? They can do it, I can do it. Ever feel like that? All over here. Well, if they can do it, I can do it. Okay, ready? Left foot forward. Put your hand down. I want to see how. There you go. Put your hand down. I want to see how it's going to move. Put your left foot forward. Oh, your left hand.
Yeah.
Okay. Put it down. I want to see. Yeah, don't lift those. There you go. Good. Put your hand down. Keep those fingers. Keep those fingers up a little bit.
come down.
There you go. There's no finger involved. Okay, ready? Bring that arm up. Get ready. Get a bigger stance there. Ready? Go ahead. All right.
This one. This whatever.
Good left hand.
Next to you.
Really? You didn't go straight. Get it around going to top. I mean, they're together, so why are you? You're sure you're gonna
All right. Put it down. Put your place. No place over there. Right here. Right here. Okay. For your safety, put your hand down. I want to see how it's going to meet. Yeah, no fingers. There we go. Good. Put your hand down. I want to see how it's going to make sure it meets correctly. Make contact with the board. Right in the middle. Yeah. Don't hit the end. My goodness. All right. And she's a dancer. Okay. Okay. Put it down. Want to see it? There we go. Like that. Done. Okay. Bring it up. Get ready. Plow through it. Okay, don't think. I mean through it. Through it. All the way through it. Raise it up. Yeah, raise your arm up and right in the middle. Raise your arm up. And go through it. Through. Oh, wait a minute. I want you to go through it. Think about it. The wolf. You're stopping. I think you're stopping. You need to go through it. Go through it. You're stopping. You need to hit my hand here. Down here. I want you to hit my hand down here. Bring your arm way up. Put your arm way up and hit my hand down there. Oh, one more.
I'm gonna try it. I'll do that.
Right there. Hit it. Right through. Down through it. I think you're stopping.
One more.
Come on. Is it? Okay.
I'll try it.
One more, but I want you to hurt your hand. But you won't hurt your hand if you go through it. Because the energy is released on the board. And put your other leg forward. Put your other leg forward. Bring your arm way up. And I want you to go through it. All the way through it. Hard and fast. Very fast. Hard and fast. Yeah, right through it. Okay. Now hold on. Sometimes helping others. I'm going to help you. And it's good to help others. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. I missed my head on that one.
I did.
Right? No fingers involved. There we go. Bring it up. Oh, turn more on the inside there. That's a recipe for hand.
Make sure you're right in the middle.
Okay.
There you
Yeah,
go.
like that. Yep, like that. Okay. There we go. Bring it up. Extend through. Go. Over. What are you doing? Okay. Oh my gosh. You must come up here. You must have really hurt. Forgotten. Ignored. There you go.
Got it. Deep breath.
Oh, hit your back straight. Put your other leg forward. Put your other leg forward. Yeah, bring that hand way up. Go through it. Maybe just calls a volunteer out of the audience. Has them come up. Puts an ice cube in their hand. Okay, it's an ice cube. No, it's a hot coal. Ah! And the person drops it. They're burned. Maybe even get a blister. And then they tell them, oh, it's just an ice cube. How could that be? How could that happen? My instructor, again, says this: we always act and feel in accordance with which we believe to be true about ourselves and our environment, even if it isn't really true. But we act as whatever we believe. That's how we act according to that. I'm going to pass out some paper here. you have pens? Could you help me pass out some?
Yes, sir.
Let's get some. I want everybody to pass out. Oh, yeah, you want. Make sure. I want to sit a little further away from each other. Cover your hand. The most undesirable qualities. Every one of them. And it's essential that you be painfully honest about it. Your undesirable qualities. Take your time. You might even want to write down a note beside some of your items indicating why you or other people find your flaws so unappealing. Take your time. We all have them. Take your time and hurry up. Parents ever take your time and hurry up. There's another one. Close your mouth and eat. There's another one. Okay. Okay, so you got a lot of negative people. I want to ask some questions. Look at those items. And here's some questions when you look at them. Do I have a rational reason for this belief?
Yes.
Why do I believe it? Did someone tell me this is true? Have I come to this conclusion by myself? Could I be mistaken about it? Am I absolutely certain it's true? Would I come to the same conclusion if it was someone else? What do I do in my life to reinforce this belief? Is this belief important to me? Do I actually want it to be true? If so, why? Do I constantly reaffirm this belief? How? Sometimes people use these as a treasure to maybe an excuse for failure. Yeah. Sometimes you hold on to these things. If it is an excuse for failure, or you need to throw it away. Sometimes people hold on and use them, but it's a negative use. Look at those things. Think about them. Normally we burn them because I want you to get rid of them. I want you to get rid of those beliefs. But go ahead and, okay, so you're going to put right here, put this hand right here, like that, and just bend my arm back like this. Okay, now I'm going to just put some power, go ahead and bend it. Okay, and just keep going, just as far as you can, keep going. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to really relax. Keep hold. I'm going to really relax, and I'm going to just extend my energy up to that stairway there, like that, and just totally relax now. You extend my energy out, and go ahead and bend it. I'm just totally relaxed. Help them. Put your arm, yeah, there you go. I'm just gonna relax. Oh, wow. No, I'm relaxed. Bend it. Bend it. Okay. What happened there? What happened? Well, we're going to work on that right now. What I'm going to do, let's see it. Let's get a partner. You just use one person. Find a partner. Okay. Now just follow along here. What's your name?
I'm back.
What is it?
I'm back.
All right. Now, what we're going to do is he's going to put his arm out and just go ahead and tense it up, and don't let me bend it. Probably want to be able to bend it like this. Okay. Oh man, I can't. Oh gosh. All right, I bent it. But now, what I want you to do, totally relax. I want you to focus on that wall. And I want you to imagine water coming out of your arm like a fire hose, splashing against that wall. Just splashing. Water coming out, really coming out like that, splashing against that wall, even right through the wall. Just relax and focus right through, right through. Just relax when you do it, but just let your mind do it. Just reach out, visualize it, visualize it, visualize it. Now, think about your shoulder. Think about your shoulder. Retract, think about your shoulder. Whoa, okay. Let's try that. Do you feel that? Okay, very good.
Just do what I did.
Some people think if only I had blank, I'd be happy. If only that, be happy. If only, something, fill it in, I'd be happy. But that never works. My dad, my father was 50 years old. He lost his job after 27 years, and he was born in 1927. That generation where they identify with their job, their profession, they have a big identity with it. He lost his job for 27 years. The plant closed, and at Atomo there are two plants: John Morrow, meatpacking, and John Deere. And you worked one or the other if you stayed in town. So John Morrow closed. So if only I could get on John Deere. If only, Well, finally he did. Got on at John Deere, and being like late 40s, he expected to be treated a little bit better, but they didn't treat him that well. He didn't like it, and he put everything into it, and unfortunately, at the age of 50, he committed suicide. It was very sad. Just really wanted something, and didn't come through. And I don't know exactly why. He was kind of a quiet person, but that happened. So don't put all your, if you only have this, because if you only have that car, if you only got that money, if only, you're not going to be happy. I'll tell you, happiness, I found, in my experiences, you have short-term gratification and long-term gratification. Short-term gratification, food, sex, drugs, rock and roll, all short-term gratification, it's there. And what do you have? But you have nothing left. Long-term gratification is the opposite. Hard work, working out. What happens over long term? You get stronger, you feel better. Long-term gratification is hard work. Short-term gratification is easy, take a pill, take a drug, drink some alcohol, Short-term gratification ends up misery. Long-term gratification, if you work, you find happiness in that way. And finding meaning. What is the meaning of life? Someone said the meaning of life is creating a value. Creating a value that other people want. It could be a business, could be your labor. That's value producing. But creating something of value that people want, and then you get something out of it. You get something, they get something. And that's what society needs. Value creators. They create something valuable, whatever that is. It could be an artist, it could be this, it could be that, it could be running a business. Create something that people want, and you create that value. That's what life is about. And that's how you find happiness, is creating a value. You might start as a value producer, and then you go to a value creator. And that's where you get there. But I know as a correctional officer, I interviewed people who were in for heroin addiction. I go, how in the heck did you get involved in heroin? Well, a friend taught me to try it, and it was such a great high. I never had such a great high in my life. It was so, I couldn't tell you how great that was. So he did it again, and it was great, not as great. Did it a third time, okay. And then he actually needed it a fourth time in order not to feel bad, because after a while, you're going to feel bad if you don't have it, and that's how you get hooked. And then it messes up your body, and then so it's really a bad thing. It's insidious how that can happen. I interviewed a girl once who was a nice young girl in for prostitution. What the heck happened? Well, she got in a situation where she got kicked out of the house and on the street, and first time she actually had a pleasant experience. And after that, it kind of became a nightmare, drugs, so on. People can slide in. I started talking about happiness, how to get out of that. Anyway, not depending on that, for your ship to come in. It won't come in, you gotta make it come in. You gotta go to the dock and find it. I've talked about a lot of things today. Talked about my life, I talked about energy, talked about self-esteem, talked about your self-image, talked about where your intentions and energies go, your body follows. I talked about how your body is really a view into someone's mind, You know, it's a manifestation. You think of a mind as something invisible, but it's there, right there in the body, in their face. I've talked about a lot of things. I wondered if you have any questions about anything at all. Any questions about anything? Why is the sky blue? Why? It's a spectrum thing. Okay. Questions about anything at all? Any ideas? Anybody walk out here and really do something different?
Yes.
Accomplish something?
Tell people I can break the
Get
mold.
something, ignore your blocks, ignore the negative things inside you that you may be clinging to. Maybe someone gave it to you over the years, telling you you're no good. But what are you going to do? Any questions at all? Because I could be here 10 more minutes. I'm just going to sit here 10 more minutes. I promised I'd be here. Just going to sit here. Well, I'm going to close for now. You can come up and if you want to ask me any questions at all about anything, glad to talk to you, chat with me. It's been a great experience. I love sharing things with you. I hope it was valuable. Hope you learned something. Hope you use it. And I would encourage you to get this book, Martial Arts Mirror Image. It's a self-help book. It involves martial arts, but you don't have to be a martial artist for it. Take a picture of it if you like. Order it on Amazon. A great book. Take a picture of the book, get a copy of it.
You know.
Grab my card. That's it for today. That is truly a conclusion. Thank you very much.